From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your evening update.
You can't see them too well on satellite and radar composite because they're mainly low clouds, but we've had a lot of clouds today that's kept the sun at bay, and temperatures almost busted on the forecast, but we had some afternoon sun that got us up within a couple degrees of the daytime highs we expected. Several of us did get into the lower 90s. We'll have one more day of the lower 90s before a break from the heat over the weekend. 88 degrees at the Lawrenceburg Airport this afternoon after a morning low of 70. No rainfall in the bucket today. Shoals a little bit warmer, but not by much. 89 degrees at the Muscle Shoals Airport after a morning low of 74. No rainfall here. There is eventually rain in the forecast, but we have to get to the middle of next week before that eases in here. Your forecast for tonight, turning from partly cloudy to mostly clear as we head deeper into the overnight, and some drier air filters in from the north. Overnight lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s across the area. However, I would not be surprised at one or two spots in southern Middle Tennessee sneaking down to the mid 60s, so be aware of that. And then warming into the upper 80s and mainly lower 90s one more day for daytime highs here across the area for our Friday. Mostly sunny skies and northerly winds starting up during the day. That will bring in that cooler and drier air mass in time for the weekend. Just a few clouds around, but mostly sunny to partly cloudy for the weekend. GFS overdoing that cloud cover just a little bit. Plenty of sunshine, but a northeasterly to northerly wind ushers in drier air. And between the high pressure in the plains and departing Debbie, grabs some slightly cooler air from the north that's brought down into the area. So that drops daytime highs into the mid 80s, but we quickly reverse that going into next week as we get back into the 90s. The muggies come back next week. And as we start to get toward Tuesday and especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, scattered rain chances come back as well. Lower 90s, one more day here for our Friday. Then down into the mid 80s over the weekend. It's the overnight lows that really get your attention as we get into the mid to lower 60s over the weekend, especially by Sunday morning. Still wouldn't be surprised at a couple spots, sheltered valley areas of Middle Tennessee, getting down into the upper 50s briefly. But then we get back to those seasonably hot temperatures as we head into the middle part of next week. Humidity also coming back then as well. Here's the remaining circulation of Debbie over the Carolinas that will be kicking northeast out of here and away from us. Hasn't been a local impact as expected across the Tennessee Valley. We expected it to not be. Our attention is turning toward a tropical wave out in the open Atlantic that will be moving westward, that once we get toward the middle of next week may develop into possibly Ernesto. National Hurricane Center giving a 40% chance of that possibly developing. Way too soon to try to guess where this is going to go, how strong it's going to be, if it may be a U.S. threat, that type of thing. But we'll be watching carefully in the days ahead. Your forecast for tonight becoming mostly clear as we head later into the evening, dropping out of the 80s and the 90s into the 70s by late evening, and then getting down to an average morning low of the upper 60s and lower 70s. However, one or two locations in Middle Tennessee, it could be as low as the mid 60s instead. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny for our Friday, daytime highs in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Middle 80s for the weekend with mostly sunny skies, well down into the 60s at night over the weekend. And then we start to get back to seasonably hot temperatures next week, and we start to introduce the chance of a few showers and thunderstorms as we head into the middle and latter part of next week as well. There's a look at your latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 9 o'clock for a final check of your local weather.